So, welcome everyone. Today, I'm gonna be speaking about facing life in prison. Not 5 years, not 10 years, but they're trying to give me life without the possibility of parole. So we're gonna speak to that. But before we do, we're gonna go into a scripture the Lord gave to me. It's out of the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 9, verse 6 and 7. It says, But this I say, he that soweth sparingly shall reap also sparingly, and he which soweth bountifully shall reap also bountifully. Every man according as he purposes in his heart, so let him give, not grudgingly or of necessity, for God loveth a cheerful giver. So you should always be giving from the heart. Don't be giving out of necessity because you feel you have to give. Always give from the heart. And when you give from the heart, the Lord will reward you accordingly. So, last week I was talking about a fight we had up in Mumford. If I didn't stay to school, it was up in Mumford High School. We had that fight, that gang fight. And what I didn't actually say or didn't mention last week, a police got shot. A police officer got shot. That was the reason why they bombarded my house the way that they did, and the reason why they took me down to 1300 Bobian in the fashion that they took us, because a police officer got shot. So they was looking for attempt murder on the police officer, so for whoever did it. So that was the wrap up that story. Moving forward, I was speaking about when I got dropped off. They let me out of prison for 72 hours after the incident at the hip hop shop. They let me out for 72 hours. And my ex-wife, or my wife, had came and picked me up. And she came and picked me up, and ultimately she dropped me off. Now, she had dropped me off. I went and got a cell phone from T-Mobile or Boost Mobile, or not Boost Mobile, but Metro PCS. And then she dropped me off in my truck. Now, this goes back to saying how people be living double lives or be doing things totally opposite of what God wanted me to do. Because when I first got out of prison, I just literally, a man had just died, I'm locked up. They let me out for after 72 hours because they had no case on me. So instead of me getting out, going home, chilling out, sitting down, she dropped me off in my truck, and I immediately bum rushed to one of my guys' house and to get an update of what's going on. Because when I was locked up, I was on the phone, and one of my guys at the hip hop shop told me that we was growing we had weed grow spots. And it wasn't legal at this time in Michigan, but we had a big crop, big crop. And it was supposed to be, it was this month, October month, and we were supposed to be pulling it up around this time, around the end of October. Now, mind you, it had happened on the 16th of October when the situation took place, and we were supposed to pull it up right around the end of the month of October. And when I went to jail, I had my man go check on it. When I was in the county, I had my man check on it, and he said that somebody or one of my partners who was growing with had actually pulled the crop early because he had seen me on the news. So he was trying to go get the crop so that my guys wouldn't have the crop, so he could, whatever. I'm thinking he's stealing the crop. And actually, that's what he was doing, because we never even talked to this day, but he was trying to get over and gank us. So I immediately went, got my truck, went to my guy, got that information, rounded the troops up, and immediately went to my man's house. I called him before I went, like, what's going on, man? What's happening? Why you do what you did? Why you pulled the crop up early? Oh, man. Oh, he come with all his excuses. He was scared. He was scared because he knew that I knew he had played me. So he immediately in his voice, I can sense the fear. He spooked out. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm like, man, listen, I ain't want to just let's get it divided, whatever. I was really on it. Let's divide it. I'm cool. But he talking all nervous and stuff, and ultimately the phone hung up. He wouldn't answer the phone or something. So we immediately went to his house. We got to his house, knocked on the door, boom, 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 boom. I see his car in the driveway. I know he there. But he ain't saying, he ain't answering the door. He not answering the door, what have you. So I'm knocking on the door, beating on the door. My guys circling around the house, looking, trying to see what's going on, trying to find a way to get in. So, in all that taking place, you know, it's getting kind of hectic. You know, it's getting heated. So we basically just leave because it would have turned to something different if we wouldn't have left. It would have turned into some more stuff that I was already getting locked up for. And we left it alone. But going back to show y'all, my mind wasn't right. I should have immediately, if I was thinking, I should have immediately just sat down and chilled and not worried about what was going on with that weed. My mind wasn't right. So, I go home, drop it, you know, we kick it, everybody talk about it. I go home, and when I get home to an empty house. The wife ain't there. I'm like, dang, where's she at? You know, 10, 11 o'clock at night. I call her. I'm at my mama's house. I think I'm gonna stay here, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, what you talking about? I'm at home, come home. No, I'm here. So she's scared to come home. I said, all right, whatever. Hang the phone up. That was that. I actually probably went somewhere else after that because she didn't come home. So, a couple days later, that was Saturday night, I believe. A couple days later, Monday morning, I get up to go make a run. I'm staying on by the golf course on Bentler, back in Sandy Hill Division off Grand River. So I go home. I'm going up Grand River toward Greenfield, coming from the house. And right before I get to Greenfield, I think it was Montrose or Fourier, I think the street was, where the Coney Island was at. I see the police hit the lights. I'm like, dang, what they want? They pulled me over. So I see them pull me over. I see another car pull up. Next thing I know, they coming out with their guns blazing. Get out the way, get out the way. Get your hands up, get your hands up. I'm like, what I do? I ain't done nothing. Get your hands up. So they come with their guns blazing on both sides of the car. And they take me out the car. They search the car looking for a gun or whatever. I ain't got no guns on me. I'm straight. What's going on? They said, you got a parking violation. I said, y'all doing all this for a parking violation? You know, I ain't thinking about it. I said it, but I really wasn't thinking. You know, I just asked, you know, what's going on? What's wrong? They put me in the back of the police car. One of the officers jumped in my truck, and they drove me to the precinct on Grand River and Schaefer. So I get there, and then they hold me there for a few hours. Then they take me down to the holding station over by the over near Hamtramck or whatever. So I go over there, and they process me. I go through the situation. I'm like, y'all gonna do all this for a traffic ticket, man? What's going on? They said, well, no matter what, everybody go down here, no matter what you did. You come down here, and they gotta process you until you get this ticket off your name or whatever. I'm like, ticket? I ain't got no ticket. So I'm thinking, since my son may have had a ticket or something, it must have been him because he was driving my car, so my truck or something. I don't know what he's talking about. So I'm confused, totally confused. So anyway, they get me down there, they book me, and then I'm sitting there, so I call for the dep. Put me in a single man cell, I'm calling for the dep. The dep come. I'm like, man, what's going on, man? He said I had a ticket. You know, I'm pay the ticket. Let me out. What y'all doing? But they got to process you. So I'll check back with you in a little while. I'll see what we can do. So I went through that about 2, 3, 4 times. So then ultimately, I'm banging on the door. Dep, what's going on? You know, what's happening, man? Y'all gonna hold me up for a ticket? What's going on? He said, man, you ain't, a new dep came, shift that changed. He like, man, you ain't down here for no tickets. I said, what you talking about? He said, man, you ain't down here for no tickets, man, you down here for murder. I'm like, what? Mind y'all, I did 72 hours just 2-3 days ago. I thought I was all clear, self-explained. They know what happened, nothing to talk about. I'm free to go. He said, you arraigned on murder. I'm like, are you serious? What do you mean I'm arraigned for murder? What you talking about? Yeah, you arraigned for murder. And some guys, the detectives will be up here in a little while to talk to you about it. All right. So I sit back down. So now my mind is racing, my heart is racing. Like, what is they tripping? How can I can, so many different mixed emotions. So okay, so the detectives come in, and they like, well, the detective's gonna see you after we take some samples off you, some pictures and stuff. So they took pictures of me. They checked for gunpowder residue. They checked to see my clothes. I'm like, this is 2-3 days later. What y'all checking for this stuff for? I'm tripping. Like, what are y'all checking? What are y'all talking about? So they got my mug shot. They got some pictures. They checked for gunpowder, what have you, all that old stuff. Did a swab of my mouth for DNA. So they processing me for real. I said, okay. So the detective come in there, and he like, you want to talk? I'm like, what you mean I want to talk? You want to talk to me what happened? I said, no, I talked to them 72 hours ago. I already told them what's happening. He said, all right, well, I see you tomorrow. You get arraigned tomorrow. I'm like, what? Yeah, you get arraigned for murder tomorrow. I'm like, oh my God. So I slept that off. I get up the next morning. Mind you, it's freezing up in there. All I got is they use some toilet tissue and a sandwich. Bologna, 2 pieces of bread, thick bread, no mayonnaise, no mustard, no pickles, no lettuce, no tomatoes, no nothing. 2 pieces of bread and some bologna and a roll of tissue. Mind you, it's probably 25 to 30 degrees up in there. It's freezing. So all I got on is a t-shirt and my jogging pants and some boots. So I'm wrapped up. I'm using my toilet tissue as a pillow. They won't give you no cover, no nothing. So I caught a cold in less than 15-20 minutes. They freeze you out, they put you on ice literally. So I get up that morning and I go down and they doing a video arraignment. So they want a video arraignment. So I go in front of the judge and he processed a few people first. Then it's my turn. They call my name, Keith Hudson. So I go in front of the camera on the video. You know what you're facing? I'm like, no, sir, I don't. Well, you're facing first-degree premeditated murder. You're facing second-degree murder. You're facing manslaughter. And the 4th charge of felony with a firearm. Do you understand the charges? Literally, my mind is like, what did you just say? How did you get all these charges? I thought I was going home. I thought I was free to go 72 hours ago. Now you gotta lock me back up and I got all these charges in front of me? No, I ain't with this. So, slammed the gavel, no bond. Sent me back to my cell. So right now, I'm totally lost my mind. Like, what? I'm facing life in prison. I don't know if you ever been to jail. And if you have, that ain't a good feeling. But here it is, you're facing life without the possibility of parole. I'm not sure many people ever heard that in their life when they went to jail. Facing 10 years, 15, 20, okay, give me a number. But without the possibility of parole, ain't never coming home, gonna die in jail, that hit different than a few years or a couple of years or 20 years. Life without the possibility of parole with no bond, that means from right now that I'm in jail until I die, I'm going to be in some type of jail or what have you. Can't even explain my mindset. Okay? One thing I can tell you, I wasn't going to die in jail. It was going to be somebody, I will do something to somebody and they're going to have to kill. Something's going to go crazy because I was not going to do life in jail with my mindset. I really had flipped out at that moment like, that is tripping. It's gonna be a different story than me doing life in prison. And that's was my mindset and what I was thinking. So it was like Saying that to say this, y'all, me telling my testimony of what I went through and what I felt is, I'm trying to give y'all what it looked like to be in my shoes at those moments. And I got a lot more detail for y'all to understand what my mindset was as the trial went on and as the court dates went on. But just at that moment, facing life in prison, it's like a feeling that's unexplainable. You can't even imagine it. By hearing it, you already done lost your life. By just hearing those thoughts, let alone going through the trial, which was probably the worst thing you could ever go through when you're trying to prove that you're an innocent man, or that it didn't happen the way that they saying it, or what have you. Because it was 25 different stories. Okay? I didn't even get a chance to tell my true story of what happened because the prosecution had told so many lies. I'm trying to combat the lies, tell my truth. I had to take some of they lies to turn it into my truth because it went toward my favor. So there's a whole bunch of garbage going on because they didn't go line by line on what really happened because nobody was there besides me, the victim, and the one witness that was there, and the people that said they seen it from a block away, a few houses away, or a mile away. But none of our stories lined up with what everybody was saying. So facing life in prison, y'all, is not a game, it's not a joke. And I hope that I can say something to deter a youngster or anybody else before y'all do something suddenly. All it takes is 10 seconds for y'all to lose your life or lose your freedom. So I would hope and pray that everybody would definitely consider, before you get mad at a situation, before you handle a situation, before you get in debt with anybody or get into it with anybody, think about what you have to lose. Because the ripple effects of murder hurt so many people. And then the life in prison hurt so many people that depending on me and the gentleman that lost his life. And none of our life is ever going to be the same. I know mine isn't. And I'm sure his family's life is never going to be the same. So a lot of people lost in this situation that could have been prevented. So I hope that my testimony can prevent any and everybody from doing something stupid. Do not act on impulse. Take a time to think about what's going on. And I do this all the time now because I never want to go through those things go through the things that I've been through. I want to learn from all my mistakes or learn from all the things that I've been through. The Bible says a wise man will hear and increase in learning. So I hope that y'all can hear what I'm saying and increase your learning skills to not go the same route or go down the same path that I had to go through, and can better your life by you watching mine. So I thank y'all and I appreciate y'all for giving me this moment to listen to what I'm talking about. If anybody want to learn about some finances, then please watch me on a Zoom call at thewealthyplace.biz, and I'll give y'all more of my testimony next week. So I appreciate y'all for listening. I love y'all, and I'll get with y'all soon. Peace and much love.